Hello. Oh, and good morning. I am getting this done and out of the way early again before things change and I may or may not be feeling well later. So welcome to what is this? Today's day 15, but since I didn't get to go create a video yesterday, this will be for day 14 and 15, which is days 3 and 2 on the countdown. I just recently got back from my appointment today, so I'll pick up for day 14 first. So for day 14, that I did meet with the radiologist, and we just, he just was letting me know what were the next steps, um, which I will be meeting with the surgeon who referred me over to him. Um, I'll be meeting with her sometime soon. They're scheduling an appointment for that. But that'll probably be at least 3 months, because he said there's nothing once treatment's done, there's nothing else that they do right away. So you're just done. Yeah, and then we're talking about some of the pain I was having. So look at that curl trying to jump out of there. Anyway, so I didn't record yesterday because I wasn't feeling well. I was very tired and achy. I was having a lot of pain in my back, and so he was saying that it's probably just a buildup of, and which I do agree or feel the same way, is that I just got over COVID. I'm tired from that, and then my allergies. I probably mentioned that a couple of days prior. My allergies have been flared up, and also just the buildup of the radiation. So the more, it's just a gradual buildup is what they keep letting me know, and so the symptoms are becoming more exaggerated at this time. I'm looking at myself and it looks like my eyebrows missing, don't it? I don't know. I'm just looking at it right now. It looks like my eyebrows gone. Anyway, focus. But yeah, and so I was just very, very tired. Like, I didn't take a great nap, but I did go to sleep, and I rested a lot yesterday. And when my husband got home from work, I had to have him rub my back because that's what seems to help. And it's from the tightening that's happening from the radiation. So my breast is in the tissue, and the ligaments and everything are tightening with each treatment, and which is causing the pain in my back. And I've had that pain before after I had surgery. And then I'll be talking about that here in just a moment. So for day 15, which was today, everything's still going well. There's still the tanning is gotten a little bit darker. And I'm not saying that nothing is like dark, like dark, but it's like a light. Like, it's really like my skin, because your covered parts are not as dark as the rest of you. It tends to be lighter. So it's just basically catching up with the outside of me, basically. That's how I look at it. And then one of the radiation techs let me know that even after radiation's over, probably at least 2 to 3 weeks, it'll get gradually worse before it gets better, because the radiation keeps working. So I was like, wow, I didn't know it'd be that long. But yeah, it's about 2 to 3 weeks later, it's still doing what it needs to do internally to kill off any type of like microscopic cancer cells that could be floating around. So yeah, but the treatment today went well. I'm feeling somewhat better. I'm not in as much pain since my husband rubbed my back, and I did take some pain medicine, so that seems to be working. We'll see as the day goes on, because I'll be fine. A lot of times I'm fine right now in the daytime, morning, and then as soon as like the tiredness hits and then everything starts hitting me, that's when all the pain and everything will start coming forth, and that's when I start going downhill if I'm going to go. But we shall see. I'm just going to rest as needed and just go from there. So for the breast cancer journey for today and yesterday, I'm just going to just talk about what I was going to talk about yesterday, which was the surgery. So once chemo had finished, my surgery was scheduled for July 27th, which was a Thursday. and which was, they said, 4 weeks after your last chemo treatment is how they set it up. And in between that time, they don't set any other type of appointments for like no other appointments to check anything, like to see the size of it, to see if, you know, um, if the second round of chemo responded like the first round did. They don't do any of that. They just go ahead and go forward with whatever surgery that you elected for. And so I elected for a lumpectomy, meaning they took the cancerous mass out plus an additional layer of tissue around it. And yeah, so I wouldn't have to remove my whole breast. I felt like that would be best for me since it was stage 1, caught it pretty early, it wasn't super big. And then I qualified just because of the ratio. So you have to make sure you have enough tissue left versus what they need to take out. You know, it's factors that go into that. So I was eligible for that. And then also they take out lymph nodes to test right under in your armpit area. Not like in your armpit, it's like right under where your lymph nodes are. They end up taking out 2. They test those right while they're doing the surgery, so they wait for those results as well while they're in there doing the surgery, to make sure that there's no cancer cancer cells traveled to your lymph nodes. And so the way that they detect and see what lymph nodes need to be taken out is that they inject you with this blue dye, and then they take out whatever lymph nodes light up blue. Now I remember them telling me they would need to take out 1, but she ended up taking out 2, so I'm assuming that 2 of them lit up blue. But when they tested them, there was no cancer was found in them. But they just take out the ones that light up blue. And then so yeah, I went in that morning of July 27th, just me and my husband. Later, once it was close to get ready, right before, like, about, I think the surgery was at 8, so about 7:30ish. My best friend came and my aunt and uncle came, and they just waited in the waiting area because you can only have 2 people back there, and my husband was already back there with me. So she and my husband waited with me, and we were just laughing and joking, and they prayed for me, and before I went back. And I remember them giving me that dye, and I'm not dye. They gave me the pain medicine. And I remember being asleep even before I hit the operating room. Like, I was trying to stay up, but I didn't sleep well the night before. So I was out. And so when I came to, they said it was a little bit longer. I was asleep for about an hour and a half in the recovery room. About an hour and a half because I was so tired. And they'll let you sleep before they start trying to wake you up, but I ended up waking up. So remember getting home, my friend went home, my aunt and uncle, they came home with us because I knew I wanted something to eat, and I needed to be, and plus to get my medicine, the meds that I needed, I needed to be watched. So my aunt was going to stay and watch me while her husband and my husband went and did run the errand. So I remember them getting me in bed, and I'm just saying, I'm hungry. I just kept talking about how hungry I was. And then next thing you know, I'm asleep. But then I'm waking up saying, I'm hungry. It was so funny. I just remember me kept waking up, looking around, I'm hungry, and then I'll just go back to sleep. So I didn't realize that happened for at least like almost 2 hours. It felt like 30 minutes. But when I looked at the time it was and what time we left and everything, because we probably left the hospital about 11:30-ish. Yeah. But yeah, that was funny. And then so they ended up getting me food, and I finally started waking up, so I needed to go to the restroom. So as I was waking up, coming to, that's when my aunt and uncle left, and so my husband helped me to the restroom. And as I was coming out, washing my hands, I look at my arm, and I've seen all these webs. My arm is like red. I got all these webs. I'm like, what is going on? And so I remember them giving me pain medicine before I had left. Now, it was a kind that I never had before. And they gave me that one because since I'm allergic to certain medications, there were certain ones that they couldn't give me. So they was like, oh, we're going to give you this one because this one, you're able to take with the side effects that you have from other medications. So I'm like, okay. But like I said, once I came to and I was washing, my hands had been itchy too as well. I remember scratching my hands, like on the ride home. And I remember, like, even when I was waking up, I was scratching my hands a little bit. But I just thought it was because they were dry, because you can't put any type of lotions or anything on your skin surgery day. So I hadn't put anything. My hands to me were feeling kind of dry, and so but when I looked, I guess they were getting little allergy bumps, and so my husband had to call and let them know, and so they prescribed me hydrocodone instead, and I've had that before. But yeah, I was like, well, there goes another medication on the do not give list. It's like, wow, but I can't think of it. Might have been called tramadol. Tramadol. I'm thinking that's what it was called. Yeah. So healing during after surgery, I ended up having to sleep with my arm like propped up on a pillow. I did that a lot, and because you can't put any kind of pressure on it, it hurts a lot. Very swollen. They give you dissolvable stitches, and it was like coated with like the plastic and the gauze and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to get it wet. But yeah, then what happened after that? I had to wait until it healed enough for me to start radiation. So they did give me a post-op visit, which was like a week after my surgery, and it was a week, and so they follow up, make sure everything's healing well, and everything was looking good, and they go over the pathology report. Now, I did go over the pathology report with it wasn't the surgeon, it was the other doctor that was there. She went over my pathology report with me, and what they let me know was that I ended up having a complete response to the chemo, meaning that when they took the mass out and they sent it off to the pathologist, checking to see if there was any live cancer cells still remaining in it. They could find any. There was no detectable cancer cells in it. So that's definitely a blessing, because what they would let me know that does not happen often with triple negative breast cancer. What they told me though was that, like a lot of times with the hormone related cancers, like from your progesterone or estrogen cancers that derive from the hormones, that those ones they see more complete responses. But they were letting me know that they don't see it often, that you get a full complete response from the chemo and everything, that your treatment plan with triple negative breast cancer. So I owe all that to God. I owe all that to God, and I believe that He did perform a miracle. That regardless of what all I had to go through, and still yet have been going through, He yet is worked a miracle in my life, and through this situation. Yeah, and so because I remember then I went over to my doctor the very next day. So um, it was like my 6 week appointment from my last chemo treatment ended up landing also the next day after my surgery. And so my oncologist doctor, she was just in awe too. She was just so happy. She's like, I'm so happy for you. She's like, oh my goodness, she's like, we love to see things like this just, I'm just another, it's happened before, it just doesn't happen often. They don't have a lot of cases on file that this has happened for, that they've seen. And she was just saying how she just loved watching my trust in God, just seeing my faith. She said she just loved my spirit and how I handled everything and how I took everything one day at a time. Because that's what I told her that I was doing. I said I was taking everything one day at a time, and if something came up along the way, then we would discuss it. Or even when the reactions that I was having, just the way that she seen me handle everything, and I was like, that was nobody but the Lord, because He gave me peace from jump. He gave me peace before this started, before I even entered into anything. He gave me peace about it. And even though on the first day that I had that reaction to the iron, that it wanted to take my peace, but it did not. I had to just fight through that, and I did, and just took the Lord along with me. So she was excited. Then when I first met with the radiologist to even go over the radiation treatment plan, the original plan was 6 weeks, because like they say, most times people have some detectable traces of cancer left that they're trying to go in with the radiation and kill off. Well, I didn't have that, and so they had to adjust the plan, because the thing is, the normal procedure is a lumpectomy plus radiation is the equivalent of having a mastectomy, meaning it's equivalent to having the breast cut off. And so that's what they do, just to make sure, they're trying to lessen the reoccurrence of any type of cancer coming. And so I had already told the Lord from jump that I was going to finish the process. And so I was going to go, I already knew I was going to go through the radiation once they told me about it. And so with me having that complete response, they changed it from 6 weeks to the 16 treatments. And then, so when I met with it was like a woman radiologist at first, who I met with at first. And she was just going over everything. And she was just like, wow. She was just like, I had to come see who this was. I had to come lay my eyes on the person that, had this complete response. And I was like, this is when I was asking, is this rare? Does this not happen often? And she was like, no, she said, I've never seen it. She's never seen it with triple negative breast cancer. She's like, this is my first time. And so she's just going over, and we're just going over the whole walkthrough of the whole treatment that had went forth. And, and I'm just giving all praise to God, in the midst. And she's just like, just in awe. And I'm just like, just thinking about it, I'm just like, wow, God, you really did something, not only for me, but for the doctors to see. You know what I mean? Like, the doctors are seeing this, and they're in awe as well. Not just, like, I don't know. I don't know what the statistics are, or what, she said they don't have enough evidence. Oh, so this is what they were saying. The reason why I still had to go through the radiation, even though there's no detectable cancer, because I'm technically cancer-free. At that moment, I was cancer-free, is because they were trying to do the equivalent of the mastectomy, but as well, they don't have enough evidence to say, hey, if you don't go through with at least some portion of radiation, that it won't come back. Now, mind you, I am yet trusting and believing God that I won't be back here. I won't be back here. This is it. But I told him I was going to finish the process from jump. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go through and do what I need to do. Because sometimes we jump ship too early, and that's in life, and that's in general. Everything's looking good. Everything's looking all good around us, and then we don't finish doing what we said we were going to do, and then something happens down the line. And I just said, you know what, God, I already told you I was going to go through, so I said I'm going to go ahead and finish it. And so that's what we did, and that's what you guys have been on this journey for. It's for the 16 weeks, and that's just to be any microscopic cancer cells, if anything's floating around, what I'm saying, that they can't see, because it's not like they're going through and checking the whole breast for every tiny thing. Even though they did do the additional CT scans on the breast, there was nothing that picked up at that time. But again, it was 16 weeks versus 16 treatments versus the 6 weeks. So thank God for that. But yeah, and then I lost my train of thought when I was talking about that. Okay, I had to think for a hot second where I was going. So then I met with the that same day, on my first day of the radiation appointment, to go over everything. And this is before I started the treatment. This was 10 days before, so I went for a radiation appointment. Then 10 days later is when I started the treatment. And so the radiologist, the one that I see every Wednesday, he was like, I would even be mad if you said right now that you was like, nah, listening to the side effects, you're like, nah, I don't want to do this. He said, because probably in it could be 10 years down the line, people like you may not even need radiation after having a complete response. We just don't have enough evidence to support it yet. But as more and more people have the same thing happen as you did, then we'll have a better, the cancer world will have a better, whatever word I'm looking for, just saying they will know, they will have it down on paper that, hey, these types of people that have a complete response do not need to go through radiation. But right now, he just said he's just not confident that if I don't have any. So I was just like, you know what, again, I said I was going to go through it. I went through it. But yes, so within those 10 days is when the Lord was speaking to me about starting going through this journey, and so that's when I began the YouTube and to document things beforehand, just random things. Like, you'll see some other things on my page. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, go check it out and subscribe. But just getting familiar with using and recording, and that's when the Lord spoke to me about starting it. So and then I waited till September 1st till when I started the treatment, to have a buildup of things. And it'll be better for documentation. Like, hey, I started on September 1st versus just a random day. You know what I mean? But I just thank God. I thank God for carrying me through. I thank God for where we are now. We're at the end. And tomorrow, you guys will get to see me ring the bell. So if you have not gotten caught up, or if you're looking at the end and you want to go back and catch up, go catch up. Go check it out. But this isn't the end. I keep saying this isn't the end of the journey. This is just the beginning. This is just where we're starting off. You know, we got a whole lifetime to go. So I don't know if I'll be on Facebook for a lifetime, but I'm just saying we got more life to go. So I plan to be around for a while, and I pray that you guys will be tuning in and checking in and see where we go from here. So that's the breast cancer journey, and I will tune in and be on tomorrow for the final day. See you guys then.